Beloved child, a sacred tremor moves through the space around you at this very hour. Something so eternal, so perfectly timed that the very fabric of your reality is responding. Archangel Michael is drawing nearer than he has in all your seasons of asking, and he is breathing a word meant solely for the spirit that has trembled in the silent watch. A Christmas Eve miracle is being birthed. Archangel Michael says, the longing held in the secret chamber of your heart is about to meet its divine reply, and the fulfillment will blossom in the final moment. Listen with your spirit, for what you are about to hear is not a common word. It is a celestial alignment, a hidden covenant now stirring, a golden strand from heaven finally weaving into your tapestry after seasons, perhaps lifetimes, of silent surrender. Tonight, your essence is being summoned into harmony with a holy moment already journeying toward you. Michael is making clear that the pause you endured was never abandonment. It was divine staging. It was intentional sculpting. It was the hosts of heaven securing the final fragment in its destined place so that when the promise arrives, it arrives whole, unshakable, unmistakable, and irrevocable. And he speaks this, the resolution you have safeguarded in your soul, the one you've almost ceased to voice, is already upon your threshold. But here is the mystery. This resolution will not come at the hour you predict. It will not arrive in a manner you recognize. It will not follow a script you have rehearsed. Michael says it will unfold in the last second, in the hushed interval where your soul relinquishes its strain and heaven clasps you close. Feel the resonance of that. Feel how your being responds when the word's final moment reverberate within you. For this is the kind of wonder that awaits the perfect sigh, the perfect convergence, the perfect glance, and then it appears as if it has always belonged to you. Archangel Michael reveals an image, a scroll, sealed with a crest of light, resting against the door of your inner sanctuary. Within that scroll is the resolution. Your resolution, the one that bears healing, completion, understanding, reinstatement, guidance, perhaps even joy of a kind you've never imagined. For months, your spirit has sighed the same quiet plea, when will my season change? Tonight, heaven breathes back, your season turns now. There is a hallowed quiet enveloping you now, a sacred suspension, as if creation itself is drawing breath just before releasing something extraordinary into your path. And Michael says you have sensed this shift lately. A sudden serenity, an unfamiliar flutter of hope, a lightning flash of insight. That was the first signal. The alignment has already commenced. But Michael also gives a warning, the coming hours may feel unusually potent, as if emotions swell without cause or your spirit feels unsettled. Do not fear this. It is the final purification of your heart so the blessing may land without obstruction. He says you are being prepared for what you have prepared for. And child, the depth of this preparation signals the miracle is near. So near that every distraction now clamors for your focus. Every whisper of doubt tries to amplify. Every old anxiety seeks an audience. But Michael stands at your side, his sword of truth severing these shadows before they touch your peace. You are not reading this by chance. You were led here because heaven needed to reach you before the shift manifests, so you are not startled by the sudden turn about to unfold. Your heart has waited long enough. Your tears have been gathered. Your perseverance has been recorded as faith. Michael says the answer will arrive in a way that confirms three truths. 1. You were never overlooked. 2. You were always shielded. 3. Divine timing is not tardy, it is exact. As Christmas Eve approaches, the veil between realms grows thin, soft, and permeable. Miracles travel differently in this season. Blessings move swiftly, and connection becomes effortless. Heaven's ledger opens wide, and your name is illuminated upon it. Pay close attention. There will be a moment so delicate, so gentle, yet so potent that it tilts everything you have carried. It may come through a word, a symbol, a sudden opening, a reconciliation, a revealed truth, or a doorway reopening that you believed was sealed forever. When it arrives, your spirit will know it instantly. And before this part of the message closes, let Michael leave you with this: do not turn away now, for the next revelation holds the key to how your miracle will take form. Before you move, child, pause, because what follows carries a truth you must not miss. This story is just beginning to unfurl, and the next moment is where the dawn breaks through. If this speaks to your soul, type "I open my heart to the miracle." Blessing code 441 is being released over you now. Dearest one, a tender stirring is happening around your spirit at this very instant. If you listen inwardly, you may feel it as a warm current grazing the edges of your heart. Archangel Michael is drawing nearer, not with a fanfare, but with a quiet sovereignty that fills the space like certainty taking form. He says the miracle approaching you has already begun to alter the energy of your atmosphere. You may notice uncommon synchronicities, vivid dreams, or sudden tides of feeling that arise without reason. These are not accidents. They are the early movements of a blessing that knows your name, your hour, and your deepest unspoken need. Michael reveals something profound: the answer you await is not coming from outside your journey. It is emerging from within the path God has been weaving in silence. You were never waiting for the world to change, the world was waiting for you to be positioned. And now, finally, you are standing in the precise place where heaven can reach you without barrier. This is why everything feels different lately. You are not imagining the shift. You are not misreading the signs. You are stepping into alignment with a Christmas Eve miracle already dispatched. He shows me an image of you before a doorway, not of wood, but of spirit. Behind it, a radiant, pulsating light. This light is the answer you have wept over in the lonely hours when no one heard. In the guarded places where you kept your hope. In the instance where you wondered if heaven had archived your pleas. Michael says heaven did not archive them. Heaven preserved them, protected them, and waited for this very season to deliver them. For this is the hour where faith swings open faster than fear can lock doors. If you observe your thoughts today, you might notice something unusual: old anxieties surface but then quickly disperse. Moments of doubt appear but fail to anchor. Even memories that once brought pain feel as if their grip on you has loosened. This is Archangel Michael clearing your inner space so the blessing arrives not into clutter, but into clarity. He says a heart prepared is a miracle invited. And right now, your heart is being shaped like a vessel ready to receive an overflow. You have walked through months, perhaps years, of emotional weight. You carried burdens never meant to be permanent. You weathered storms that could have drowned your hope entirely. Yet, you held on. You kept walking. You kept praying. You kept whispering, even when your voice trembled. Heaven has tallied every moment of strength. No tear was wasted. Your endurance has become the conduit through which this miracle travels. Michael says, the blessing coming your way operates on a peculiar timing. It appears at the last second. It unfolds in the moment you have nearly released expectation, not because you gave up, but because your heart finally surrendered control. In that surrender lies the opening heaven needed. You did not lose hope, you simply shifted from forcing time to trusting divine choreography. And once trust entered your spirit, the miracle received its permission to approach. A new revelation rises now: the answer you seek may not come dressed in the form you envision. It may arrive through a surprising person, an unforeseen opportunity, a message from the blue, a sudden softening of a heart, a restoration you thought impossible, or a pathway appearing where there was once a wall. Michael says this is why it unfolds at the last second, because heaven delights in revealing itself in a way that proves, beyond question, that it was God, not chance, not coincidence, not human striving. Take a breath. Feel the weight lifting from your shoulders. Feel your spirit beginning to unfurl. Feel the sensation that something is building, rising, gathering momentum. This is the spiritual countdown ticking closer to your moment of breakthrough. And Michael whispers gently now, do not mistake the silence before the miracle for emptiness. It is preparation. It is gathering. It is acceleration disguised as stillness. There is someone receiving this who has been battling confusion over a relationship, a decision, or a direction. You have begged for clarity, for a sign, for understanding of the next step. Michael says clarity is part of your miracle. When the blessing arrives, it will not only answer your prayer, it will lift the fog from your path. What felt uncertain will suddenly make sense. What felt tangled will unravel. What felt delayed will reveal why the timing had to be guarded. Hear this with your whole spirit, the miracle moving toward you is not merely for comfort. It is for transformation. It is meant to shift your life from waiting into movement, from fear into faith, from questioning into knowing. This blessing is not temporary. It carries longevity, purpose, and divine weight. Before this moment closes, Michael gives one final whisper. What comes next in this message is the revelation that prepares your spirit for the exact way the miracle will enter. Do not miss what is about to be spoken. Hold steady. The next unfolding carries a truth your heart has ached to hear. If this resonates in your spirit, type I am ready for the answer. Blessing code 552 is now released over your life. Beloved soul of light, there is a trembling in the atmosphere that surrounds you now, a gentle vibration that Archangel Michael says is the very heartbeat of your incoming miracle. He steps forward with a clarity that feels like a fresh wind entering a room long closed. He wants you to understand something deeply before the next shift unfolds. The blessing coming toward you is not drifting randomly. It is escorted by divine hands. Heaven has assigned movement, timing, and direction to what you have awaited. And Michael himself has been guarding its path so that nothing delays it any longer. He brings to remembrance a moment from your past, a moment you may have forgotten, but heaven did not. There was a night you whispered a prayer so softly you thought even God might have missed it. But that whisper became a seed. It did not wither. It did not disappear. It rooted itself in the spiritual realm, and heaven has been cultivating it ever since. What you thought was a small request became a great unfolding. What you believed was too fragile became the very foundation of what is about to bloom. Michael says the miracle approaching you carries 3 layers: restoration for what was lost, revelation for what was hidden, and release for what has been withheld. As Christmas Eve draws near, these 3 layers are weaving together like threads of living flame, forming a blessing that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. It will feel too precise, too perfect, too timely to be anything but divine orchestration. There is something vital Michael needs you to hear: the miracle will not simply arrive, it will interrupt. It will interrupt doubt. It will interrupt fear. It will interrupt cycles that kept repeating. It will interrupt emotional patterns you thought were permanent. This is why the blessing unfolds at the last second, because it is meant to break open a situation just when it seems sealed shut. It enters the moment your hands loosen their grip and your spirit surrenders the outcome. It enters the second your heart whispers, "What is meant for me, let it come." Michael shows a spiritual image, a brilliant light descending like a ribbon of gold, curling gently around your heart. Inside that ribbon is the answer you have longed for. And this answer is not late. Michael says it is early compared to the original divine timeline. Heaven accelerated the miracle because your spirit matured faster than expected. The growth you achieved in quiet places, the healing you pursued while hurting, the forgiveness you offered without apology, these things pulled the blessing closer. Listen carefully to this next truth: before the miracle enters, there is often a stirring, a restlessness, a sudden sensitivity. You may feel waves of reflection, moments of unusual clarity, or unexpected memories rising. These are not signs of regression. They are signs of cleansing. Heaven is preparing your heart to hold what is coming. A blessing this powerful requires space, readiness, and emotional openness, so it becomes a permanent turning point. You may have noticed this shifting recently. Perhaps you felt distance from someone you were once close to. Perhaps you suddenly lost interest in old fears. Perhaps you felt drawn inward, quieter, more reflective. Michael says this is the spiritual pruning that always precedes a divine arrival. Nothing essential is being taken, everything unnecessary is being cleared so the miracle can land without interference. There is someone listening who has carried a heavy uncertainty about the future, asking if the next steps lead to stability or more struggle. Michael says this miracle does not only answer your question, it stabilizes your future. It removes hesitation from your path. It shifts you from fear to clarity. When this blessing enters, you will feel the weight lift instantly, as if a key has been placed in your hand, unlocking a new direction. And now Michael leans close with a whisper for your spirit: prepare to witness the moment heaven reveals why everything took so long. The delay was your protection. The silence was your shaping. The waiting was your strengthening. But the miracle, this miracle, is your reward. You are stepping into a divine moment that will mark the end of a long spiritual chapter and the beginning of something breathtakingly new. Before this part concludes, Michael urges you not to step away. What comes next is where the miracle's identity begins to take form. The revelation that follows will answer the question your heart has held beneath all others. Hold steady. The next unfolding carries the key to understanding the timing of your blessing. If this message touches your spirit, type "My miracle is aligning now." Blessing code 773 is now released over you. Like, share, comment, hype this message and subscribe for more divine guidance. Your engagement helps this message reach the ones who are crying out for hope right now. Now, beloved, allow this sacred transition into a deeper truth as I speak directly to those whose hearts are stirred to support this mission. Just as this miracle moves towards you, there are countless souls waiting for a word that could lift them from darkness. When you choose to support this channel, you are not giving to a platform, you are sowing into the very field where God awakens hearts. The light that flows here becomes a river reaching those with no voice, no guidance, no strength left to pray. Scripture declares that those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And today, heaven speaks that promise directly over you. I invite you personally to step into this moment of impact, for your seed becomes oil that keeps this flame burning. Let your support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description become a prophetic act that opens the heavens over your own life. To everyone who gives, I declare supernatural increase, accelerated answers, and divine visitation. Step forth boldly and release your offering. Heaven is watching for your obedience, not your amount, sacred one. There is a quiet trembling beneath the surface of your life right now, a vibration Archangel Michael says is the echo of something opening for you in the unseen. He steps forward with a presence that makes the air feel thick with purpose. He wants you to understand that what is unfolding is not accidental, not random, not merely seasonal. It is intentional. It is heaven-timed. It is interwoven into this moment because your spirit has finally reached the capacity to hold what once would have overwhelmed you. Michael reveals that your heart has been in a long season of stretching. You have been pushed emotionally, spiritually, mentally, sometimes to the point of questioning if you had anything left. You carried unacknowledged responsibilities, survived unspoken losses, and walked through unseen battles. Yet, through it all, something within you refused to collapse. That resilience, that hidden strength, that silent endurance is what positioned you for this incoming Christmas Eve miracle. Heaven watched every moment you kept going. And now heaven moves on your behalf. There is a divine mystery Michael wants you to grasp. Your miracle is not coming because of luck. It is coming because your spirit has earned its readiness. God does not release answers into unprepared hands, but into hearts refined, strengthened, and purified by the very waiting they endured. Your waiting was not empty time, it was transformation. It shaped you into the version of yourself who can now receive without losing, hold without breaking, and walk forward without fear. Michael shows an image of a clock, its hands made of light. Each movement emits a glow that pulses toward you. He says, these pulses are divine moments aligning in your favor, moments in motion since the first day you cried out for clarity. They converge toward a single point, a single moment where everything begins to make sense. That moment draws near with every breath. You may feel an unusual awareness lately. Perhaps waking with a sense of shifting, thoughts drifting toward hope without reason, a tug in your spirit as if something stands just behind the veil. This is not imagination. It is spiritual alignment. It is the miracle adjusting its timing to meet you exactly where your heart can receive it. Michael says this alignment often comes with signs, small, subtle ones most ignore, but your spirit recognizes. A sudden significant message, a lingering dream, a repeated number, unexpected peace, a conversation strangely meaningful. These are heavenly breadcrumbs leading you into the truth that something is approaching, something heaven crafted and angel protected. He wants you to understand that the answer you long for is not just coming to comfort you, it is coming to change the course of your life. This miracle is directional. It shifts pathways, adjusts outcomes, realigns destiny. It is not momentary relief, it is a permanent turning. It is heaven saying, you have endured enough. Now watch what happens when divine timing opens. But before the miracle arrives, there is a spiritual thinning of the veil. You may feel emotions rise unexpectedly, tiredness without cause, reflection on forgotten things. Michael says this is purification. Heaven is releasing the final fragments of old heaviness so the blessing can land without resistance. He speaks to the tender part of you that wonders if you are truly ready to receive what you've prayed for. He says, yes, you are ready. You are more ready than you know. Your growth has surpassed the level required to sustain this blessing. The doubts are echoes of the old you, the one who did not yet know her strength. The you standing here today is equipped, sharpened, protected, and prepared. Michael speaks prophetically now, the miracle is not late, it is layered. What is coming includes more than you asked for, hidden blessings you did not know to request, favor, alignment, protection, new opportunities, unexpected restoration. Heaven never sends blessings in pieces, it sends them in clusters. You asked for one answer, heaven is releasing multiple breakthroughs wrapped in the same moment. And here is the revelation he wants you to hold tightly, the blessing will unfold when it seems nothing is happening. The last second is often disguised as stillness. The breakthrough arrives at the edge of surrender, not the peak of striving. Heaven waits for the moment your spirit stops forcing and starts flowing, for that is when divine timing can finally take over. As this part closes, Michael presses one more truth into your heart, do not step away yet. The next unfolding reveals what the miracle will touch first, the door that opens before all others. You will not want to miss what is about to be spoken. If this awakens something within you, type "My spirit is ready." Blessing code 884 is now being released over your life. Precious heart, there is a sacred stirring rising inside you now, the kind that appears only when heaven prepares to reveal what has been hidden too long. Archangel Michael stands beside you with calm power. He says, the next phase of this miracle is already touching the edges of your reality. You may not see it fully, but your spirit feels the shift. Your atmosphere has changed. Your inner compass has turned. These changes are not random, they are the early tremors of a blessing drawing nearer with every breath. Michael reveals that every miracle starts in the spiritual realm before becoming visible. Long before you witness the breakthrough, your spirit receives its whispers. That is what has been happening: nudges you couldn't define, movement you couldn't prove, an inner knowing something approaches even when circumstances deny it. Heaven was signaling you, preparing you, inviting you to feel the miracle before you saw it. He wants you to understand something significant: the answer you await has not been delayed, it has been perfected. God has been shaping it quietly, removing anything that could harm you and reinforcing all that will strengthen you. The miracle is not coming to fill a temporary void, it is coming to restructure a part of your life, to stabilize what has been shaking, restore what has been lost, and ignite what has gone dormant. This is why it required time, not because heaven was slow, but because heaven was ensuring nothing incomplete could reach you. Michael shows a vision of your heart as a room where light seeps through cracks. As the light intensifies, the cracks widen, and suddenly the room is flooded with brilliance. He says this is how your miracle enters, gradually at first, then all at once. The last second is the final moment of a long build-up. Heaven has been sending light little by little until it bursts open with undeniable clarity. He speaks of a spiritual law: the internal landscape must shift first. This is why you felt deep reflection, sudden release, or emotional heaviness without warning. Old memories resurfaced, certain people pulled away, you craved solitude. Michael says these were not regressions, they were transformations. Heaven was removing remnants of emotional weight so your heart could receive without the shadows of the past interfering. A divine realignment is happening around your relationships. People who drained you are losing their hold. Situations that caused anxiety feel distant. Michael says these shifts are heaven's way of making room for what the miracle will bring. Every divine answer requires space: emotional, spiritual, physical. You cannot step into a new chapter holding the weight of the old one. Heaven is clearing the path. Michael also reveals something tender: the miracle may not look like the original picture you imagined. It will be better, stronger, clearer, more aligned with your purpose. Heaven does not return what was lost in the same form, it returns it improved, elevated, purified. If healing is coming, it comes with truth. If breakthrough is coming, it comes with wisdom and stability. If clarity comes, it arrives with peace. Heaven never gives half blessings, it gives complete ones. You may feel a deep pull inward right now, a desire to breathe, rest, pause, listen. That is because the spiritual realm is speaking louder. Your intuition is heightened, your perception sharp, your heart more open than in months. Michael says this openness signals the miracle is close. The stiller your spirit becomes, the closer the blessing gets. There is someone receiving this who has wrestled with a fear of disappointment, afraid to hope again because the last season tested you so deeply. Michael says it will not lead to heartbreak. Your faith now is not fragile hope, it is prophetic alignment. Heaven is not calling you to wish, it is calling you to prepare. Now Michael leans close with a revelation to anchor you. What is coming will not slip away, collapse, disappear, or deceive you. This miracle is safeguarded. This answer is sealed. This blessing is irreversible. Heaven has signed its approval. The miracle is already on its final descent. Before this part closes, listen, the next unfolding reveals where the miracle will land first, the first place you'll feel the shift, the first door that opens, the first sign the last-second blessing has arrived. You will not want to miss what comes next. If your spirit feels this truth, type "I welcome my miracle" with faith. Blessing code 992 is now released over you. Chosen soul, there is a soft awakening inside you at this very moment. Archangel Michael says it is the sign your miracle is entering a stage of divine visibility. For so long, the blessing has formed in silence. Now heaven removes the final veils. What you have waited for, longed for, prayed for, sometimes doubting, sometimes clinging with trembling hope, is stepping closer, directly into your path. What was invisible is beginning to breathe near you. Michael reveals the next phase begins with awareness, not of your mind, but of your spirit. Something inside you is becoming more alert, sensitive, attuned to heaven's subtle movements. This sensitivity is not confusion, it is a heart beginning to recognize what approaches. You may notice intuition sharpening, an internal compass feeling alive, thoughts drifting toward hope without permission. This is your spiritual frequency rising. Heaven is tuning your heart to the vibration of your incoming miracle so you won't miss the moment it touches your life. Michael shows a vision, a horizon at dusk, quiet, until a streak of golden light tears through the sky. That streak is symbolic of what is entering your life, piercing through places that felt dark, breaking into stagnation, illuminating hidden paths. You are standing at this threshold. The next revelation you receive will be the first sign the miracle is no longer forming, it is arriving. Something deeply important, the first place your blessing lands is always the heart. The heart must open before the door opens. The heart must receive before the answer manifests. That opening is what has been happening. Even if you haven't understood why your emotions have moved as they have, reflecting more, revisiting memories, feeling unexpected clarity, these are spiritual clearings. Heaven is removing clutter so your heart can feel the miracle when it lands. Nothing divinely aligned can rest in a heart weighed down by yesterday's heaviness. Michael wants you to know there is a reason your blessing required patience, not because heaven was withholding, but because heaven was building a version of you that could hold the weight of what you prayed for. Miracles are not fragile, but the places they land sometimes are. That's why heaven strengthened you, why certain people drifted, why clarity took time. Everything aligned with who you are becoming, not who you were. He speaks another profound truth. The first shift you'll notice is peace, not ordinary peace, but a quiet assurance that settles in your chest without explanation. Peace that interrupts fear, overthinking, and makes you feel supported even when nothing external has changed. This is Michael's sign to you. When this peace rises, the miracle is only moments behind. You may also notice unexpected ease. Situations that felt heavy may lighten. Conversations that brought confusion may bring clarity. Doors that seemed shut may loosen. Ease is the mark of something heaven orchestrated, for divine blessings never require force, they unfold with grace. He reveals the miracle will begin by touching your deepest, most tender desire, the one you rarely speak aloud, only whisper in private prayers. Heaven always begins by healing the place that has hurt the longest. That is the first landing point. When that part is touched, you will feel a release, something lifting, opening, softening inside. Michael also says the miracle will come with confirmation, a sign that leaves no doubt, a moment that makes your spirit say, "This is it." You will not have to force understanding, you will simply know. Your heart will recognize what your eyes have not yet fully seen. Now he leans close, the moment of unfolding is nearer than you think. The last second is approaching. Do not walk away. The next revelation reveals who the miracle touches next, and it is more powerful than you expect. Hold this tightly, the unfolding is not ahead of you, it is happening around you even now. If your spirit receives this, type "I receive the first touch of my miracle." Blessing code 101 is released upon your life. Radiant soul, there is a holy nearness around you. Archangel Michael says, this nearness is evidence your miracle has crossed from preparation into manifestation. Something unfolds behind the veil with such precision that even the smallest movements of your heart have begun to shift. You may not have the full picture, but you can feel the weight of something approaching, the change in the air, the subtle warmth within. These are the spiritual ripples of a blessing entering your field of reality. Michael steps forward with power and tenderness. The miracle you await is not coming toward you alone, it is coming toward the you that exists today, not the version you used to be. This distinction matters. Your journey has been one of transformation, quiet, painful, necessary. You shed old beliefs, released old fears, outgrew old patterns, walked through doors requiring courage your past self did not possess. Because of this, the miracle is finally landing in soil where it can grow lasting roots. He shows an image of a tree with two halves, one barren, stripped, almost lifeless, the other overflowing with blossoms and golden fruit. The barren half represents where you started, loss, confusion, heaviness. The blooming half represents where you stand now. Even if you don't realize how much growth occurred, heaven nurtured your roots silently while you focused on the storms above. You thought you were breaking, heaven was strengthening. You thought you were losing, heaven was preparing. You thought you were delayed, heaven was aligning timing with destiny. The miracle is not just for your heart, it will ripple outward. But it begins with one specific place. The next person the miracle touches is someone whose presence or absence has shaped your emotional landscape for a long time, someone who hurt you, supported you, left you, stayed, or whose role has been uncertain. Michael says, heaven is moving into a relational space that has needed healing for years. It may appear subtle, but the shift will be undeniable. He also reveals someone connected to you, whose energy is intertwined with yours, is being prepared for a change as well. This person may feel restless, reflective, emotional, or unexpectedly drawn toward clarity. Heaven is moving through their heart, aligning them with the role they are meant to play in your miracle, whether reconciliation, release, support, truth-telling, or offering an opportunity. The alignment is already in motion. Michael emphasizes this phase is delicate. The energy is shifting, you may notice conversations feeling heavier or lighter, memories more vivid. Heaven is rearranging emotional currents, placing you where the miracle has its greatest impact, and sometimes that requires moving other people into alignment too. You may feel this as sudden peace, sudden distance, or sudden clarity about a connection. All are signs the blessing is touching hearts beyond your own. He says there is divine purpose behind every shift. Nothing is accidental. Every emotional tug, intuitive pull, unexpected encounter is a step in the choreography. Heaven touched the first heart, yours, and now begins to touch the second. A deeper message, the person or situation touched next will bring a level of healing or confirmation you have quietly craved. You may have prayed for understanding, closure, clarity, truth. The miracle carries these within it. The answer is meant to be unmistakable. Michael whispers with sacred intensity, do not underestimate what heaven is weaving. The threads move faster than your eyes can see. The moment you feel this shift in relationships or emotional atmosphere is the moment you'll know the miracle has entered its next stage. You will notice conversations unfolding differently, decisions feeling easier, people responding with unexpected softness. Heaven is positioning individuals so your blessing arrives without interference. Hear this, the miracle will not come with confusion, it will come with clarity. When the second heart is touched, you will feel a release confirming heaven's intervention, peace, truth, lifting of tightness. It will feel like an inner exhale. Before this part closes, Michael urges you to remain attentive. What comes next reveals the identity of the shift, what it will look like, how it will move, the sign as the blessing enters its most visible form. This next stage is where everything takes shape. Do not step away. If your heart feels this truth, type I align with heaven's timing. Blessing code 1221 is now released over you. Beloved carrier of divine promise, the atmosphere around you is shifting with greater intensity. Archangel Michael says this is because your miracle has entered a stage where heaven begins to reveal its shape. What was a vibration is becoming form. What was spiritual is leaning into the physical. You may feel this transition without fully understanding it, a strange clarity settling, a quiet knowing awakening, a sense something real is moving. Even if you can't describe it, this is the sign the blessing is no longer approaching, it is beginning to take its first visible breath. Michael steps forward, the miracle is now entering the world of signs. This is where heaven starts using the physical realm to signal what is unfolding. You may notice sudden patterns, repeated numbers, unexpected conversations, doors shifting open. These signs may feel small but carry weight. They are footprints of your blessing before it fully arrives, whispers of heaven saying, prepare your eyes for what your spirit already knows. He reveals the miracle does not simply appear, it signals itself. Heaven announces breakthrough with gentle alignment. Something clicks. A message comes at the right time. A thought enters with unusual strength. A person reaches out unexpectedly. Peace washes over you without cause. These are indicators the edges of the blessing have begun to touch your life. Michael says the miracle is now shaping itself around your path, not forcing, not rushing, shaping. This shaping may bring sudden clarity in tangled areas. You may feel drawn to make postponed decisions, release emotional burdens, see your life through quiet expectation instead of fear. Heaven is recalibrating your inner world so the blessing finds you steady, ready, aligned. He gives an image, a large door of radiant white stone, glowing softly. It has been shut long, but the hinges are warming, as if something behind it prepares to push outward. Michael says, this door represents one specific area of your life long stuck, stagnant, unresolved. The miracle will begin here, where you have cried the longest, questioned deepest, hoped most. Heaven does not begin where your life looks strong, it begins where your heart has been most fragile. He explains this is why your emotions have stirred recently. When heaven prepares to open a long-closed door, the heart feels pressure before the eye sees change. Waves of longing, sudden memories, thinking of a certain person or dream without knowing why, this is the heart awakening to what is about to shift. You are not imagining the intensity. These sensations are heaven alerting your spirit to nearing divine intervention. The blessing is drawing breath. The miracle is gathering momentum. The door is preparing to open. Michael reveals a powerful truth, the next sign your miracle is close will come through alignment, not effort. Something will fall into place naturally, move without forcing, click with ease. Heaven is arranging scattered pieces. The miracle arrives through divine synchronization, not struggle. When you see alignment happening effortlessly, you will know the blessing is at the edge of manifestation. He whispers a deeper revelation: do not fear the quiet before the shift. The quiet is the breath heaven takes before speaking your blessing into existence. It may feel unfamiliar, but it is sacred, the pause preceding breakthrough, the stillness signaling heaven is fully present. Michael says the miracle will touch 3 levels: your heart, your environment, and your relationships. You felt the heart shift. You're beginning to feel the environmental shift. Soon you'll see the relational shift. People will respond differently. Opportunities will reflect your readiness. Conversations will bring clarity. A connection may experience healing or transformation, confirming heaven's hand. Before this part closes, Michael speaks with urgency: do not step away now. What comes next reveals the exact moment the miracle breaks open. The next unfolding carries the sign you've prayed to recognize. Hold this message close. What you are about to hear will anchor your understanding of the final stage. If this resonates, type "I recognize the signs of my miracle." Blessing code 1440 is now released over your life. Like, share, comment, and hype this message so it reaches the hearts heaven is trying to awaken. Subscribe so you never miss the divine timing assigned to you. Now allow me to speak to those stirred to support this mission. As heaven aligns your miracle, countless souls pray for the hope you just received. When you choose to sow here, you become a carrier of light, helping God reach those moments from giving up. Scripture declares those who sow in faith reap abundance. Today I declare that over your life. I open this invitation: your seed becomes oil, keeping this message burning across nations. Every super thanks, membership, offering via PayPal becomes a prophetic act heaven honors immediately. Those who give now will walk under an open heaven where blessings chase them. Step boldly. Your generosity ignites miracles in homes you'll never see. Release your offering as divine participation in God's work. Beloved one, there is a sacred trembling around you. Archangel Michael says, this trembling is the moment before the moment. The miracle is now so close its presence brushes your reality. Your spirit feels it. Your heart senses it. Your intuition stirs because heaven is positioning the final piece for your blessing to break open. This is where the invisible cracks into the visible, where the last-second blessing begins its descent. Michael steps forward. The miracle is entering a phase called the crossing, where promise transitions from spiritual formation into earthly manifestation. It steps onto the threshold between realms. During this crossing, you'll feel subtle changes in emotions, clarity, energy. These are confirmations heaven moves with precision. He shows a vision: you at a shoreline, tides pulling back farther than usual, exposing sand never seeing sunlight. Michael explains this is the divine setup. The tide pulls back only to return with greater force, fullness, blessing. The place you felt emptiness is where the wave of your miracle prepares to crash. The withdrawal was an illusion. Your flow is the truth. Michael speaks to explain strange sensations. The closer a blessing comes, the more your spirit releases old fears. You may feel vulnerability, need to withdraw, revisiting old dreams. This is because the heart recognizes the arrival of what it once mourned. When heaven returns something, your soul awakens to welcome it. He also reveals in this crossing you may feel drawn to stillness. Stillness is heaven's chosen environment for miracles. In quiet, the blessing aligns with your readiness. In quiet, clarity sharpens. In quiet, heaven speaks clearest. This stillness is not emptiness, it is preparation for a moment where everything changes in one breath. He turns to a specific truth: the miracle will first reveal itself through a shift in perception. Something once impossible will feel open. Something once feared will feel manageable. Something confusing will make sense. This inner awakening precedes outer transformation. When your sight changes, your season changes. You'll know the miracle is at the edge when you see possibility instead of limitation. Michael reveals heaven is touching a situation holding you in emotional tension too long, involving a person, decision, or direction. He says this tension is about to break. The pressure is not because you're stuck, it's because the breakthrough is pushing through. Pressure is the final sign the blessing has reached the surface, a sign of emergence, not delay. He shows another vision, a sealed envelope hovering in radiant light, the seal glowing as if heaven presses its final mark. He says this envelope represents your answer. The seal is almost ready to break. Heaven is finalizing details, lining circumstances, preparing hearts, positioning timing so when it opens, the answer flows with undeniable clarity, nothing vague, partial, or confusing. Michael speaks with conviction. There will be a moment soon where everything inside you shifts at once, an inner click, sudden certainty, a wave of understanding, a surge of peace. This will be your sign, the unmistakable signal the miracle has crossed fully into your reality. You will not miss it, your spirit will recognize it instantly. He adds, the miracle will bring acceleration. Once unfolding begins, things move quickly. Doors open faster, clarity comes easier, opportunities rise suddenly, breakthroughs layer. Heaven does not release in fragments. When the door opens, it opens wide. Before this part closes, Michael gives a final whisper, do not step away. What comes next reveals the sign confirming the blessing has fully entered your life. The next unfolding carries the mark heaven uses to show the miracle is no longer approaching, it is here. Stay close. If your spirit receives this, type I am ready for the unfolding. Blessing code 1888 is now released. Beloved vessel of awakening, a holy pressure builds in the unseen around you. Archangel Michael says, this pressure announces your miracle is on the verge of breaking the final layer keeping it hidden. This is where spiritual and physical realms overlap. You may feel restlessness, anticipation, emotional sensitivity, sudden peace. All declare one truth, the blessing is at the threshold, ready to cross fully into your life. Michael steps forward, the next phase is called the ignition, where heaven sparks motion in a stagnant area. You've prayed over it repeatedly. Heaven stored those prayers as keys, waiting for the precise moment to turn them. That moment approaches quickly. Ignition begins quietly, but its effects will not be quiet. He shows a vision, a lantern lit in a dark forest. The light is small at first, barely illuminating nearest trees. As the flame grows, the entire landscape reveals itself. Michael says, this lantern represents the first visible sign of your blessing. It may appear subtle, ordinary, but the more attention you give, the more it expands. It will speak directly to your spirit, you'll recognize the light before your mind understands. The miracle always introduces itself through illumination. He explains illumination comes through one of three channels: revelation, sudden clarity, communication, a message, conversation, response, or opportunity, an open door, return connection, environmental shift. Whichever channel, it will be unmistakably timely. He speaks of timing, heaven is never early, never late. What feels last minute to you is perfect in the spiritual realm. You are stepping into a divine moment where everything synchronizes. What felt scattered is gathered, delayed is aligned, impossible is brought within reach. These alignments are the architecture of your miracle. A deeper truth, the blessing approaching is not just something you receive, it transforms you. Expect inner shifts, thoughts clearer, decisions sharper, intuition stronger, heart lighter as invisible weights lift. This is heaven preparing you. The miracle is too powerful to land in a heart carrying yesterday's heaviness. That's why your emotional landscape has been rearranging. Michael turns to your posture, not physical, but spiritual. You have entered a posture of expectancy without realizing it. You live in quiet readiness, breathe in hope even when doubt interferes. Heaven recognizes this readiness and responds. The blessing is drawn to expectation as flame to oxygen. Your expectancy gives the miracle permission to unfold. He gives a vision, a key glowing golden. This key represents the moment of unlocking, where an obstacle blocking your path suddenly loses power. It may be emotional, relational, financial, spiritual. It will come with sudden freedom, an exhale without knowing why, a wash of release, clarity arriving gently. This unlocking is the sign the miracle has completed its crossing and enters its final form. Michael whispers prophecy, you will know the blessing has arrived when something once heavy suddenly becomes light. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. The lifting of heaviness is the signature of divine intervention. Heaven lifts what the world cannot. He addresses a quiet question, will it last? He says, yes. This is not temporary relief. This miracle carries longevity. It will anchor, reshape, support, establish you. Its purpose is not short-term happiness, but long-term alignment. What arrives is meant to stay. As you near this ignition, you may feel drawn to reflection or solitude, a desire to prepare inwardly without knowing how. Michael says, follow these impulses. They are heaven guiding your spirit into alignment with the exact moment of breakthrough. Your preparation is orchestrated by the same hands carrying your miracle. Before this closes, Michael gives a final instruction, do not step away. What comes next reveals the unmistakable sign the blessing has arrived, the divine marker you asked heaven to show you. Stay close. The next revelation is one you've waited your entire heart to hear. If your spirit receives this, type I welcome the ignition of my miracle. Blessing code 1999 is now released. Dearest heart aligned with heaven's timing, a holy thickness fills your air, a presence so close Archangel Michael says your breath matches the rhythm of your unfolding miracle. The waiting shifts into witnessing. The atmosphere is saturated, charged with divine motion. You may feel warmth in your chest, calm on your shoulders, anticipation brushing your thoughts. These are first signs what heaven promised is arriving. Michael steps forward with authority, your miracle carries a signature, a mark that cannot be mistaken. Every divine blessing comes with a sign speaking directly to the soul. It is not vague or questionable, it is unmistakable. Your spirit already prepares for its appearance. He shows an image, a curtain moving gently without wind. This curtain represents the veil between hidden and revealed. The movement is heaven's signal the unseen steps forward. Michael says the miracle has touched the veil. The fabric shifts. The breakthrough presses. The revelation leans into your life like sunrise into horizon. He explains the sign will interrupt your usual flow. It will stand out like a sudden note in silence. It may come through a person speaking words you needed, an opportunity opening where closed, clarity arriving so sharply confusion dissolves. Whatever the form, it will be marked by warmth, certainty, peace, divine alignment. Your spirit will feel it before your mind understands. You'll sense a shift, a turning, a knowing. Once this recognition arrives, it becomes the anchor stabilizing the rest. He speaks of timing, the final moments are most spiritually active. Heaven moves pieces rapidly, lining hearts, preparing spaces, softening pathways, clearing obstacles. You may have felt this as emotional waves, restless energy, sudden reflection, deep stillness. These were confirmations. Heaven stirs waters before parting them. He gives another vision, a book, pages fluttering open by an unseen hand, stopping at a chapter titled Fulfillment. Michael says this chapter was written for you long before you prayed or doubted. Heaven always knew this moment. You are not stumbling into blessing, you are stepping into destiny. He reveals as the blessing touches earth, you may feel internal release, something loosening, unclenching, heaviness leaving. This release is the sign your heart has been unlocked. You may desire to breathe deeply, smile unexpectedly, cry without sadness, stand still listening. These reactions evidence heaven has entered your emotional space. The miracle aligns with your inner world, preparing you to receive without fear. Michael emphasizes the sign will not bring confusion, confusion belongs to delay. Clarity belongs to fulfillment. When heaven moves, everything sharpens. The sign will reveal direction, intention, purpose. It will answer questions you carried silently, even those afraid to admit. He whispers with gentleness and authority, you are not waiting for approval. Heaven has already approved your miracle. This approval is why the sign comes with power, carrying the weight of a door unlatched by divine hands, the assurance of something heaven sealed. When it appears, it will feel like a sacred invitation, now step forward. It is time. He adds, this sign is not small. It may appear simple but carries the magnitude of a shift you cannot miss, like the first raindrop before a long-awaited storm, the first spark lighting a lantern, the first breath after holding everything inside. It will be the beginning of movement you won't have to force. Michael shows one more vision, a stone rolling away from a blocked path, moved effortlessly by unseen hands. This represents the obstacle once in your way. Heaven is removing it quietly but completely. Nothing will block what is meant for you. Nothing will delay what is ordained. Nothing will silence what heaven has spoken. You are nearing the moment of recognition, where your spirit says this is it, everything aligns in one breath, the invisible becomes visible. Before this closes, Michael whispers a final instruction, do not step away. The next unfolding reveals how the blessing takes shape once the sign appears, the transformation following recognition. Stay close. The next revelation carries the shape of your miracle's manifestation. If your heart feels this, type I am ready for my sign. Blessing code 2112 is now released. Beloved spirit at the edge of divine fulfillment, the air around you no longer carries whispers of what's coming, it carries the nearness of what has arrived. Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence so profound it feels like heaven leaned into your atmosphere. He says, the moment your heart waited for, prayed for, ached for, sometimes doubted would ever come, is now entering its full expression. The miracle is no longer approaching, it is unfolding. Even as these words reach you, you stand in the doorway of manifestation, and heaven opens the path before you with unmistakable purpose. Michael reveals once the sign appears and your spirit recognizes it, the miracle begins to take shape rapidly. The spiritual drops into physical. The invisible becomes tangible. The promise becomes movement. What felt distant becomes undeniable. He says you must understand, miracles rarely arrive gently. They arrive with momentum, with acceleration, with divine force shifting atmospheres, redirecting emotion, restoring broken places, lighting dormant areas. The moment the sign touches your awareness, heaven releases the full sequence of the blessing. He shows a profound vision: a great tree, once bare, bursts into full bloom within seconds as the first leaf appears. Michael says, this is how your blessing will manifest. It begins with one moment of recognition, one moment of divine clarity, one moment where something inside whispers this is the shift. And once that happens, the rest unfolds quickly, beautifully, undeniably. What took months to prepare takes moments to reveal. He explains the unfolding will touch multiple areas in a sequence arranged in heaven. The first area touched is the place holding your deepest longing. That longing acted as a spiritual magnet, pulling the blessing closer with every prayer, tear, surrender. Heaven heard every whisper, counted every patience, guarded every fragile hope. Now heaven rewards your endurance with manifestation. The next area touched is the space around your confidence. Michael says your spirit has been burdened by doubts, past disappointments, wounds convincing you good things pass you by. With the miracle's arrival, these doubts lose power. You'll feel a surge of inner strength, clarity, renewed self-belief, restored identity. The blessing transforms how you see yourself, it corrects the inner story told in fear. Michael shows another vision, a key turning multiple locks at once. This represents acceleration. Once the first door opens, others follow. Opportunities step forward. Conversations unfold with ease. Situations soften. Hearts are touched by divine timing. Heaven arranged a sequence: once it begins, nothing can interrupt. He adds, you may feel a wave of emotions: joy, relief, gratitude, even disbelief. These are your spirit acknowledging heaven touched your reality. You may cry not from sadness but release, recognition, sudden understanding, the long waiting transformed into fulfillment. Let these emotions flow, they are part of the healing, the blessing, the arrival. He warns gently, some things may shift quickly now: rapid changes, unexpected alignments, sudden clarity about what stays and what leaves. Do not fear these shifts. They are heaven's final adjustments, ensuring nothing stands in the way. Every change is purposeful, intentional, guided. Michael speaks with sacred certainty: what comes now is not partial, it is complete. Your blessing will not arrive in fragments, it arrives in fullness. The miracle will not tease you, it will fulfill you. The blessing will not raise questions, it will answer them. The moment you witness the sign, everything within you will know the season has turned. You will feel the shift at your core. He reveals the final stage is settlement, where what arrives becomes established, permanent, rooted. Heaven does not send temporary gifts, it sends foundational ones, blessings anchoring your future. The manifestation you step into is not fleeting, it is lasting, stable, divinely sealed. Now Archangel Michael leans close with a final message woven with power and gentleness: child, lift your spirit. The miracle is no longer near. It is here. Walk forward with expectation. The final unveiling is upon you. Heaven has moved. Now it is your turn to receive. Before this ends, let this truth settle into your deepest heart: you are entering the moment forever dividing your story into before and after. If your spirit receives this revelation, type "I receive the full manifestation." Blessing code 303 is now released over you. Like, share, comment, and lift this message so others can step into their miracle with you. Subscribe so you never miss a divine moment appointed to your path. As your miracle unfolds, remember thousands of hearts cry for the same hope. When you support this mission, you ignite a movement of light across nations. Scripture declares those who sow into God's work see a harvest overflowing. Heaven speaks that word to you today. I extend this invitation personally: join me carrying this fire so no soul is left in darkness. Your support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal becomes a prophetic act, sending these messages farther than your reach. Heaven marks those who give in revelation moments. I declare your seed returns multiplied, in open doors, accelerated answers. Step boldly, release with faith. Heaven watches, and your obedience unlocks more than you imagine. Thank you, precious heart. May you feel heaven's embrace today and always. Your faith has summoned the miracle. It is here. Glowing star, sparkling heart.